Alright, welcome to the first episode of creating an album. Hello, my name is Heather Mall. I am starting a YouTube series about creating my first album as an independent singer-songwriter, and basically I have been putting this idea aside until it felt like the right time, or I thought I would sign with a record label, whatever, but I realized you have to make your dreams happen if you want them to happen, and you can't keep waiting around for other people to make them happen for you. So I decided I'm going to make a YouTube series to show you, if you're an independent artist, what it's like to kind of do a whole album from the ground up without any previous experience. But that's okay, because you know what? There's a first time for everything. And if you're not an independent artist and you're watching this, thank you for supporting along this journey. Oh, I'm dropping things everywhere. Basically, I'm going to show you this whole setup. I've got a ring light right here. So content creator like. I hate it. But it's fine. The one thing that I dislike about being an independent artist today is you have to kind of become a content creator and you have to market yourself, and in order for people to listen you kind of have to put yourself out there, unfortunately, which I am not crazy about. As somebody who grew up in the early 2000s and having CDs and physical media as my go-to for all things art, I can't quite take to the liking of, oh, everything is digital, everything has to be streamed. This is, as you can see, this is why I like physical media. I'm gonna figure out if I can make a vinyl in some way, shape, or form, or a CD, because I would much prefer it. And it just feels so much better to own art that you love and to actually be able to hold it in your hands and be like, yes, this is my favorite album, or this is my favorite CD. And especially with the streaming services nowadays that literally pay artists nothing. That's fun. I know there's this whole thing about Spotify that has AI bans on there. AI bans? What are we doing, people? What are we doing as humans that we're allowing AI to create art? Who created AI? So let's go back to humans creating art instead of AI. I will go off on a tangent if I don't stop. So anyway, let's get back to the focus of this video, which is creating an album. So I'm gonna be recording on my phone here as well. I finally have space on it. Let's see if we can figure out what we want to do here. Okay, so I am going to, did I press record? Yes, I did. Okay. I did. I think it's recording. Continuing. So I've got my ring light set up. I'm gonna have to take off my glasses for the ring light. So, alright, I'm gonna make a checklist of what I'm going to be needing, and this is probably, I'm not gonna have everything written down because I'm probably gonna forget some things or notice some things along the way and be like, oh wait, I needed that. So I'm gonna make an album checklist, fill up this bad boy to figure out what exactly I need. And now I'm gonna film some content. Alright. Oh yeah, I need this off because it is glaring. Alright. Hello everybody. I recently posted about how I am going to be making my first album, and so today I'm going to show you, oh, there's my ring light. Today I'm going to show you what an album checklist looks like for me. This can be different for you. I am probably going to add things along the way, but let's figure out what we need to create this album in the first place. What are the steps going to be? What do I need to focus on first? But let me think real quick. Okay, so we're going to write album. Gotta use blue because it's my favorite. Should I talk about the album title yet? I'll wait. Okay. So album to-do list. Let's see. We need the name, obviously. Title. We need the track list. I'm gonna put lyric sheets and chord sheets because I'm planning on recording this in studio with some studio musicians and some friends, and so I really need to, I'm gonna put lyric / chord sheets / arrangements, because there's gonna be a lot of different instruments and a lot of different background vocals, and so I'm going to need to mark everybody's parts. Some of the parts I don't know yet, like drums. I know nothing about drums. So I am going to have a studio musician do that. I'll talk more about that when the time comes, when we get to the recording process, because I don't know how to talk about that because I'm not a drummer. But I will show you like the process of how I come up with harmonies, how I come up with arrangements, how instrument sounds come to my brain, and I want to put them down on sheet music to create a song. So I've got, so far, album to-do list. Title name, track list, lyric, chord sheets, arrangements. What else do I need for like the actual album? Cover art. I'm really excited about the cover art because I have some ideas. I'm going to show you today how I come up with like a vision board for the album and how I came up with the aesthetic look for the album. I'll talk a little bit, I'll make 2 videos out of this so it's not too long, but I'll talk about how I came up with the title and the meaning behind it, and then that vision board as well for just the overall theme. Let me do that. Let me do themes / vision board. For the physical album besides recording, title, track list, lyric, chord sheets, arrangements, cover art. What else do I need for the album itself? Let me think about this. There's going to be many other checklists, but I'm doing this checklist for the literal album itself, not like the recording process and how to contact people and how to get gigs. That's going to be a whole other to-do list. It's kind of just a general to-do list of the whole process, but this is just an album itself to-do list. Like, what do I actually need to make this album exist on its own? And then marketing, gigs, all that kind of stuff will happen after that. So there will definitely be a longer to-do list for sure. But I think this is about it. I'm probably missing something big. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, record demos. That's what I'll do. Recording demos is a super important part of this process if you're working with absolutely anybody else. If you're making an album completely on your own, kudos to you, props to you. I cannot do all these instruments by myself. I can do the piano, I can do voice, backup vocals, but I cannot do the rest, and I don't want to mix and master it when I know people who have that skill much better than I do. And so really it's just about working with a community of artists that you know. But if you're doing it by yourself, amazing, awesome. So if you are doing this by yourself, I would recommend recording a demo anyway, because that way you can listen to the song and be like, wait, I actually don't want to do this in this part, I want to switch it to this. It gives you a rough draft, I guess I would say, for the whole album. But yeah, so record demos either way. And if you are recording an album and you don't know how to play instruments, or you do play instruments and you want singers or whatever it is, be open to allowing collaboration, because without collaboration you're really not experiencing art to the fullest, I think. Because every time I perform with friends or I work with somebody like in the studio, I know that it's beneficial for the art as a whole, and you get to learn so many things, they might learn some things, but in general, art is, to me, art is supposed to be shared. Art is supposed to be something that we as humans can relate to, and I think that we relate to it because we all experience emotions. I think that recording demos this goes back to what I was saying. Recording demos is helpful because if you are working with other people, they need to know what your vision is and what it's going to sound like the day of recording, and then they might have a suggestion or something like that you didn't notice, or you might have made an error that they notice. It'll be helpful to have extra ears for your project, basically. And as I was saying before, I think that art really does thrive when we allow ourselves to be open, because that's essentially what it is anyway. And when I'm writing, it's the most vulnerable that I can be besides performing said songs, and I think that people relate to that and understand. Some people might not feel that need to be vulnerable and perform, which is totally okay, and I think that they still benefit from the listening process of the music. So here's my album to-do list. I am going to pause my camera now so I can record on my phone to post to Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Right, here we go. Thank God I was recording. Oh my God, yes, I was recording.